All right, UFC 288 marks the return of Henry Cejudo as he tries to take back his bantamweight crown against Aljamain Sterling. Let's get into these predictions. I'm very curious about this main event, but I'll go into that. First off, I do want to air out a grievance. I'm a little disappointed that Drew Dober versus Matt Frivola is only on the prelims. I think that this should have opened up the main card. Like, this is a banger. This is a potential barn burner, potential fight of the night right here, right? And look, it's not that I don't care about Kron Gracie or Charles Jourdain, right? But both these guys are coming off of losses, right? Whereas these two were undefeated in 2022 across both of them, 5 wins, all finishes, all TKOs. Like, this is just a way more interesting fight. You know what I mean? But I'm going to watch this one as a fan. I'm going to enjoy it. I like both these guys. But anyways, on to the main card. Kron Gracie versus Charles Jourdain. I don't have much to go off of either of these guys. You know, Kron Gracie has been inactive since 2019, I believe, or 2020, right? Since 2020. So I obviously have not seen any matches from him. Charles Jourdain, the only fights that I've seen from him are his losses. So not the best showing from both these guys. I might have to just lean Charles Jourdain just because based off his record, he's more well-rounded, right? And that's what I'll have to go off of. I do have to emphasize this. I don't have much to go off of for this bet, so I am going to bet on the favorite Charles Jourdain, probably by decision. Next up, we have Movsar Evloev versus Diego Lopes. Once again, for like the second time, Evloev and Bryce Mitchell are not going to be fighting, and Diego Lopes is stepping in on short notice. I'm going to have to once again go off of what I know, which isn't much, and I'm going to go with Movsar Evloev by decision against Diego Lopes. I believe this will be his UFC debut. I've not seen a fight from him, so I don't have anything to go off of him. Movsar, has some dominant decisions, some close ones, but overall he's pretty well-rounded. Good striker, great grappler. Right, I'm probably going to lean for Movsar. I'm going to agree with these odds. Yeah, Evloev by late. No, not even a late finish. Probably like a decision. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I do think that Evloev versus Mitchell would have been more interesting, but hey, it is what it is. This is the fight we have. Moving on, Jessica Andrade versus Xiaonan Yan. I'm just collecting my thoughts here. I'm going to go with Jessica Andrade on this fight. She's the betting favorite. I'm going to once more bet on the betting favorite. I think that Jessica Andrade just has more to show from her resume. More experience at the higher level. A lot of dominant performances such as Lauren Murphy and some nice finishes. She may be coming off of a loss to Erin Blanchfield, but that was short notice, and Erin Blanchfield's the beast. Fight is Xiaonan Yan. She was able to neutralize a lot of Mackenzie Dern's grappling in her last fight. I believe that was her last fight. But she hasn't really impressed me too much. I don't know if she has too much to show. She does have some nice hands, some good, strong hands. But I don't think it's anything new that Jessica Andrade can't take. I kind of see this being a either Jessica Andrade win by decision or a late finish. That's just how I see it. I don't think that Xiaonan Yan has to worry about this going to the ground. But she might have some positives because she did show some improvement, some good takedown defense, right? But I'm going to go with Jessica Andrade on this fight. I'm betting on the favorite. Next up, we have a very interesting fight, co-main event, top 5 welterweights in a 5-round co-main event. Belal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns. I think this is a pretty interesting fight. I'm very curious about the matchup. I have reasons to root for both these guys. I believe that Belal Muhammad deserved the title shot by now over Colby Covington, right? And Gilbert Burns, he's a likable dude. He'll fight anybody, right? I guess both these guys, aren't really afraid to fight anybody. This is a pretty interesting matchup. Both these guys are proficient grapplers. We know that Belal Muhammad incorporates that heavily into his fighting style. Burns is willing to stand with you, but will take it to the ground to mix it up. Belal Muhammad likes to just overwhelm his opponents with volume and pressure and just kind of hold them down. We saw Gilbert Burns in his last performance against Jorge Masvidal. He kind of held him down too. I think this is going to be maybe an interesting fight or a really boring one. I would say that if their grappling cancels out and this stays on the feet, this could be very interesting. Gilbert Burns has a lot of power. He's got a lot of toughness, right? And Belal Muhammad's got a lot of volume and a good chin. I think I'm going to lean the underdog on this one. Odds have this as a pretty close fight, and I do agree. I think I'm going to go with Belal Muhammad on this one. And it's not that I don't know. It's not that it's anything that Muhammad can throw that Burns can't take, right? Here's the thing. I don't see any of these guys taking each other down or holding each other down for a long time, right? I don't see that. It's possible, and that might give us a pretty boring fight. They both decide to put that into their game plan. But I don't think it's going to happen, in my opinion. I think it's going to end up on the feet. And I feel like I don't think that Muhammad's going to fish Burns. I don't think that, right? But I think with just the volume, um, he might be able to outpoint Burns. And of course, Burns is going to be in this fight the entire time because of his power, right? I don't think Muhammad's going to absolutely wash Burns, right? But I'm going to lean Bilal Muhammad on this one by decision, right? This might be a game of edges. You know what I mean? Um, hopefully these guys get a title shot. I don't think Covington deserves a title shot right now, but that's not the point of this video. This is the matchup we have, and so that's that. So I think I'm gonna go with Bilal Muhammad. 5 rounds, 5 round decision. Yeah, I think so. And I'm not too confident because, like I said, I think this is gonna be a game of edges. I don't see a lot of dominance, but we'll see. But I'm gonna lean Bilal Muhammad. I'm gonna lean Bilal Muhammad by decision. I like both these guys. Well, I mainly like Gilbert Burns. Don't have much to go off with Bilal Muhammad, but like I said, I do believe he deserved the title shot already. So I don't really see. I'm cool with either of these guys winning. Last up, the main event. Man, a lot of questions. Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. Okay, Henry Cejudo's back. The cringe king is back, right? I guess this is part where I say that I'm a fan of Henry Cejudo. I am a fan. I highly respect him. I respect his IQ. I respect his worth ethic. He might be cringe, right? And he's not the most humble. Like, let's be real, he's not humble. He always has to mention how he beat Demetrius Johnson, and albeit a very close decision that probably should have went the other way. But still, I'm a fan of Henry Cejudo, right? Um, and yeah, as far as this matchup goes, Henry Cejudo may have the tools to beat Sterling. Obviously, he's a phenomenal wrestler. He's a great wrestler and a great striker. He's very strong, right? But of course, the big question is, and we all have the same, we're all going to attribute the same thing, is Henry Cejudo's layoff. Cejudo's not fought in the octagon since, I think it'll be like close to a year, like just about a year by this Saturday. 3 years. He's 36, going on 37. He's probably past his physical prime. While I wouldn't say that necessarily means he's washed, right? Of course, layoff is something to consider, right? Can't count him out, but it's definitely good. It could be a factor, right? So, the question is, like, can he shake off the cobwebs when going to this fight? Because, Sterling has kind of lived in this division and has evolved to become arguably the most competitive division, right? Whereas Cejudo has been out for the years that it became that division, right? So the question is, has Cejudo, can he retain his explosiveness? Like, that's what made him a pretty dangerous fighter. In addition to be able to make adjustments, he was explosive, right? And it's because of his explosiveness that he was able to get those controversial early stoppages against TJ Dillashaw and Dominic Cruz, right? He capitalized on a single moment and just, committed to the opportunities, and he got the stoppages, right? So yeah, the question is, once he's in there with Aljamain Sterling and he has to deal with his kind of funky, unorthodox style, right? He has to deal with, him Sterling always switching stances, his, odd striking, and alongside his grappling. Like, can Henry Cejudo shake off the ring rust to be able to adjust to Aljamain Sterling, right? Because, here's the thing, Cejudo has some great takedown defense. So maybe on paper, it would seem like Sterling would have a hard time taking him down. But also, in all fairness to Sterling, like, Sterling's big. Like, Sterling, Cejudo accomplished most of his takedown defense in the flyweight class, right? This is bantamweight, and Sterling's a big bantamweight. He looked big next to TJ Dillashaw when he was standing next to Conor McGregor, and I do mean a pre-USADA Conor McGregor, right? Sterling did not have any shortcomings in size. This dude is big, right? I don't think it's out of the question to say that Sterling takes on Cejudo. I think that he can. And maybe not take him down, but maybe just get his back, right? And maybe not just get his back, but maybe Cejudo can initiate the takedowns or a clinch, and Sterling can scramble, right? Because Sterling is very good at scrambling, right? He does have some I don't know, outlets, get to the ground and hold him there. I think anybody who gets caught in the backpack of Sterling is there goes the round, right? So, I'm very curious to see how this fight's going to go. Once again, considering if Cejudo can shake off the ring rust, if he can get used to living in the moment, living within a fight, honing and sharpening his instincts again, to be able to adjust to Sterling, to be able to deal with his takedown threat alongside his unorthodox style, in order to make the best of what he can on the feet before it probably goes to the ground, right? This could be a boring fight if Sterling just dominates and just holds Cejudo the whole time, or it could be a very interesting one if it's constantly competitive everywhere, right? Yeah, the odds have this as a coin flip, and I'm gonna have to agree. I think this is a coin flip just with the layoff. You know what I mean? I think Sterling's a great grappler too, so I'm not trying to overlook him. I think that Cejudo does have the tools to get this done. Once again, are those tools refined? Have those tools been rusted? Like, has he sharpened them again? Right? Does he need to sharpen them when in the ring or in the octagon? Right? Because I do think that Cejudo can adjust to Sterling. The question is when. Piotr Jan was able to adjust to Sterling in their second fight, right? In the championship rounds, he pretty much stuffed all Sterling's takedowns and won those championship rounds. But that was after Sterling sunk in like 2 rounds of control time, right? Just on Piotr Jan's back for like the entirety of 2 rounds, right? And then took that first round, and that's how he won the judges' scorecards, right? Piotr Jan adjusted, but all too late. The question is, when can Cejudo adjust? Right? Is he going to push the pace? Is he going to initiate the clinch, right? That he's really good at? Is he going to initiate the scrambles, in which Sterling is probably going to welcome, right? How does it go? The size difference, the reach difference. Sterling's comfortable with good reach, right? Cejudo can adjust to it. The question is, can he? I think this one's tough to call. I do think this one's tough to call. If I'm going to lean anywhere, I'm going to lean Henry Cejudo by decision. Potentially a close fight too. If it's not close, then maybe Sterling dominates, right? I would not be surprised if Sterling gets his hand raised, right? But at the end of the day, what I want the most is that I hope that whoever wins this fight does not have an asterisk next to their win, right? With, Aljamain Sterling beating a one-armed TJ Dillashaw and Henry Cejudo having 2 controversial early stoppages on his resume. I just hope that whoever wins gets a definitive win. No controversial decision, right? No injury mid-fight, right? No eye poke that ends it, right? I just hope that this, we see it through. And once again, that it's a clean win. That's all I could hope for. But if I'm going to lean anywhere, I'm going to lean Henry Cejudo by decision. And that's that. These are my picks. I'm pretty excited for this card. Pretty excited for this main event. Definitely some bantamweight GOAT conversations coming in after this main event. But yeah, so let me know your guys' picks. Agree or disagree. Any other of these fights are looking forward to. And yeah, please subscribe for more. I got some more predictions coming, some more MMA related videos coming. They're on the way. So yes, take care, everybody. I'll catch y'all later.